Alright, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is your Sergio Copite trying to stream the theoretical and conceptual framework under Practical Research 2. This is a lecture video for the purposes of assistance and discussion. First and foremost, before we go into the concepts and dive into our understanding to there, I'd like first to inform everybody that we are following this general timeline that I issued previously. Actually, we are following four. Number one, the background of the study. That is an individual activity, and some of you and most of you actually have submitted it already. Followed by the statement of the problem, that is individual. Followed by the scope and delimitation of the study, that is per group. And all of a sudden, we paused for a week to give way to your exam. And then we ended up and we have not yet finished number four, that is the conceptual framework or theoretical framework. And supposedly this should be streamed this Monday, but we are unable to do that because of some uncontrolled circumstances, so we apologize on that matter. Now, may I have your attention on this calendar of activities that we are following. I issued the same thing on your GCs. For September, we actually are following this one. So before I proceed, let me just open my pointer. So September, this is the date. We actually did the background of the study until here, Saturday. October 3. Right after the background of the study, we went to the statement of the problem 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That is a week. You were given a week to do that, followed by the scope and delimitation of the study, that is per group from 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. That is another week or 5 weeks or 5 days. And right after that, supposedly we will continue on 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, but we had our exam, we had your unit test, so we paused for a moment. Supposedly by 26 I am posting this video already, but it so happened that we faced many workloads. We are only streaming this today at 29, but anyhow, you have still 1 week to go to submit this one. So from October 30, 31, you have November 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have plenty of times to fulfill this one. And so I am streaming this already. And by November 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, that is when we retrieve and submit all of your modules, including module 1, 2, 3, including the exam. So everything should be at least submitted by 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Now, in the case that some activities were unable to be submitted, we can adjust times and just tell us, because we haven't issued new notice. But I will not yet disclose this. However, rest assured that extensions will be given. Now on this side, when to submit, yes, November 9 to 13, 2020 is the second week of November. Where at D115 Retrieval Room, first floor of the Ebenezer Convention Center. And please take note, in exchange, pick up your last package, a 4th batch module, good for actually 7 to 8 weeks, enough to cover 2 months from November until December. Okay, so I hope that this one is clear to us. I hope that you're able to capture this already and you have an overview on the timeline pacing as we gradually transition from a day to another one to another one. So this is a very important one that you have to realize, because this will gradually guide you and tell you what to do. Now let's proceed on the concept of theoretical framework or conceptual framework. Okay, so based on our understanding, we have the existence of the theoretical framework and conceptual framework. Well, many research say that theoretical framework are for quantity and conceptual framework are for qualitative. However, there are no authors or probable research that will tell us which is which. But the bottom line is that there has to be a theoretical, or there has to be a framework in a research, either theoretical or conceptual. So we will be doing this actually. Now let's try to define what is theoretical. Theoretical framework are theories are developed by researchers to explain a phenomena. So these theories are collections of ideas, informations, knowledge, what else? Body of knowledge and branch of knowledge that were developed by researchers or individuals, scholars, students, college students, high school, senior high, or whoever it is, to explain a particular phenomena, a condition in the society, a problem in the society, or probably anything that is within the society, in order to draw connections and make a prediction. So probably, for example, a researcher was able to understand that the Philippines is commonly hit by typhoons. We can draw connections and make predictions. Predicting means say the We can make resilience, resilient. We can make guidelines on how to be resilient because we're able to predict the damages of this typhoon that they cause in our place. So we can make guidelines on how to protect ourselves from any form of harm. So that is when we are able to predict the situations in the future. So they are based on existing knowledge. When I say based on existing knowledge, these are knowledge that already exists some time ago and they've been there already, discovered by people, and they're being shared throughout the cyberspace of a community of knowledge, and everybody have the ability and capacity to access that. And based on existing knowledge, observations, and ideas. So these are basically knowledge, observations, and ideas. Now, your role as a researcher is to discover them, collect them, and dive into them and look into what is being said there. Now, in your thesis, the theoretical framework is where you discuss and evaluate the theories that are most relevant to your research. Look, you evaluate. It involves evaluation. It involves evaluation. You discuss and evaluate theories, and that are relevant to your research. So the main goal is to define key concepts. Your theoretical framework should define the concept that you're trying to imply to the audience and evaluate and combine relevant theories all together and models so that you are going to, when we say combine, this implies that you have to understand a collections of many knowledges from across different fields. So you this means that you must read different articles and whatever the contents, you combine them all together so that we can able to elicit the relevant theories and models that are very necessary and relevant to your research. So this demands you to look into different articles, informations, or infographics, or anything about your research. And as you do that, you are explaining the assumptions and the expectations that guide your project. And by presenting this information, you're able to frame your research and justify your approach by showing that your work is grounded in established ideas. So when we say grounded and established, yan, it simply means that your research is not just a research, but it has explored several ideologies from across the different community of knowledge. So you're able to consult people, theories, knowledge, and articles. So hindi lang siya basta research pero siya ay pinag-isipan, inayos, maayos ang kanyang pagkakagawa. Nagkaroon ng mga consultations and cross-examinations of informations from across different articles at nagkaroon dito ng tinatawag rin nating pagbabasa ng iba't ibang artikulo na sumasalamin sa direksyon ng iyong research. So, that happens, you're able to ground your research whenever you're able to read a lot of articles that supports your statements and that support your objective, that support your research itself. So I hope that is very evident to you. Your research should be supported by anybody or by any articles. This part of your dissertation or probably thesis lays the foundation that will support your analysis, allowing you to convincingly interpret your results and explain their broader relevance. Now, the goal of the theoretical framework, before you start your research, you have to explore what theories and models or other researchers have already developed. The goal of a theoretical framework is to present and explain these informations. Now, there may be many different theories about your topic, so the theoretical framework also involves evaluating, comparing, and selecting the most relevant ones. Moreover, by framing your research within a clearly defined field, you make the reader aware of the assumptions that inform your approach, showing the rationale behind your choices. Don't you know that theoretical framework will imply the rationale? When you say rationale, the foundation, the justification, the very reason and the very core why you're studying that one, and that is called rationale. Now, this part of your dissertation or probably your thesis lays the foundation that will support your analysis, helping you interpret your results and make a broader generalizations of ideologies. So, as you gradually tell us specific details, you are able to create generic ideas in behalf of the audience who are reading your research. And that is the effect of the theoretical framework. Now, let's go to the question how to create a theoretical framework. Now, to build your theoretical framework, follow these three steps. We have three steps. Number one, identify key concepts, evaluate relevant definitions, theories, and models, and show what your research will contribute or the impact of your research. So let's go back on the first one. Identify your key concepts. The first step is to pick out the key terms of your your problem statement or research questions. Concepts often have multiple definitions, so the theoretical framework involves clearly defining what you mean by each term. So, for example, when you say bullying, you try to define that exactly and objectively what is the definition of bullying. When we say business, you have to define what is exactly the definition of business. So you have to give us a clear definition of this, because when you say business on the other perspective, it means not referring to any form of marketing but some kind of monkey business. So you have to define exactly what is the language or the word that you're trying to refer to through the theoretical framework. So, for example, problem statement and research questions: company X is struggling with the problem that many online customers do not return to make subsequent purchases. Management wants to increase customer loyalty and believes that improved customer satisfaction will play a major role in achieving this goal. To investigate this problem, we have identified and plan to focus on the following problem statement, objective, and research questions. So the problem is many online customers do not return to make subsequent purchases. Objective: to increase customer loyalty. Research questions: how can the satisfaction of company X online customers be improved in order to increase customer loyalty? And the concept of customer loyalty and customer satisfaction are clearly central to this study. The theoretical framework will define these concepts and discuss theories about the relationship between them. Now, for number two, evaluate relevant definitions, theories, and models. So I'd like you to dwell on the word evaluate relevant. When we say evaluate, this involves choosing, picking up the correct or relevant definitions that exactly complements your research. So by conducting a thorough literature review, when we say literature review is the seeking or the review of varieties of articles from across the different fields. So you review them, you understand them, you read them, you try to pick what is relevant to your research. So that you can determine how other research have defined or drawn connections between these key concepts. Because whenever you review, you get to know how did the researchers are able to present the data and how were they able to reconnect and connect everything. So that will gives you the impressions and the imitation that you will follow the same. Now, as you write the theoretical framework, aim to compare and critically evaluate the approaches that different authors have proposed. So here comes the word compare and critical evaluation of approaches. So when there's approaches, the way that's being attacked, on how you attack and present ideas and present them in a gradual, in a very comprehensive manner. Now, after discussing different models and theories, you establish the definitions that best fit your research and justify. Here, the word justify. When you say justify, you're going to defend why is your research very important, very relevant, and what is it's grounded, who supports your research, who agrees on your research, who likes your research, and who definitely complements your research. So whenever you get to know, whenever you're able to collect people that agrees to you, you're able to justify and convince your audience that your research is very relevant, because you're able to provide series of justification why this is in you're able to provide justifications why is this important. Now, in more complex research projects, you might combine theories from different fields to build your own unique framework. Meaning to say, you might combine, ibig sabihin gagawa ka ng sarili mong teorya base sa mga different fields to build your own unique framework. So you can combine different theories. When we say theories, knowledge, information, ideas all together being combined, being selected, and being compressed to one another. And that's when you're able to build your own unique framework. Next, make sure to mention the most important theories. See, make sure to mention. We say make sure to mention. What we're trying to imply is that choose exactly that this article has to be very relevant truly to your research. Do not include other theories that it does not involve itself in the research. So you have to mention the most important theories related to your key concepts. If there is a well-established theory or model that you don't want to apply to your own research, explain why isn't suitable for your purposes. So you can you can defend too in your answers. If there are those who disagree and agree, oh yeah, disagree a while ago. I just remember. If there are those people who disagrees on your research, you have to defend that. You have to defend yourself. You have to do something about it by trying to justify it. So you have to get another article that refutes that article too. So that is when you become critical and significant. Now, show what your research will contribute. So ano ang impact ng iyong research? You have to tell us that there has to be a contribution that research has to be a contribution in the society. So, apart from discussing other people theories and ideas, the theoretical framework should aim to show you how your research, how your own project fits in. So, how would it affect the community, the people, or anybody else? Now, will you test a theory or contribute new evidence by collecting original, qualitative, or quantitative data? So, you have to ask these questions on yourself first before doing so. Will you use theory as a basis for interpreting and understanding your data? Does your project critique or challenge an established theory? Are you combining theoretical approaches in a new or unique way? If relevant, you can also use the theoretical framework to develop hypotheses for your research. This is what your hypothesis, but definitely we will not be dwelling here. Actually, we will not be leaning toward this. A hypothesis makes a testable prediction about the outcome of a specific study, while a theory is the overarching explanation for why and how certain outcomes happen in general. So that means you can use the theory to determine what you expect to happen. So by theory, you can actually make predictions of what will be the end result of your study, and that is one direction of theoretical framework. So I think that ends my presentation. If I wish to send as well this copy, this is courtesy of Shona McCombs article, free access. You can actually access this on your Google Drive. So this lecture video is to simply present to you and probably read to you, or at least give you overview or a taste of what is theoretical framework. So I thank you very much, and that ends my presentation, and I will exit this already.